Welcome back, everyone, to Preparing for the Collapse Radio. This is the place where we really try to cut through the noise and get straight to the knowledge you need, for building that resilient, independent future.
That's the goal. And today, we've got some really interesting sources, specifically a detailed article from Spiritwalker.
Ah, okay.
He's digging into something maybe overlooked in prepping, modern plant-based food alternatives.
Right, what you actually eat. Seems basic, but maybe not so simple.
Not at all. He connects it directly to, well, personal health, sure, but also something he calls your spiritual vibration and fundamentally to self-sufficiency.
Okay, spiritual vibration and prepping.
Yeah.
Interesting mix. So what's the main takeaway for you, the listener, today?
We want you to grasp the really critical difference Spiritwalker sees between the biggest names out there.
The big brands everyone sees in the store.
Exactly. And why that difference matters, especially if you're serious about prepping or living a more self-sufficient life. It's about whether you're truly supporting independence or something else.
Got it. So let's start with that spiritual side. Why does Spiritwalker think a plant-based diet is important beyond just, physical health?
Well, he frames it as a resolution. It's not just about eating healthier in the usual sense. It's about aligning what you consume with your energetic state, your spiritual vibration, as he puts it.
Spiritual vibration.
Okay.
Let's unpack that a bit. How does a burger, plant-based or not, affect energy?
Yeah, it sounds a bit out there maybe, but Spiritwalker argues that natural whole foods carry a higher, cleaner energy frequency.
Okay.
Whereas heavily processed or especially synthetically altered foods, they introduce, like, energetic static,
Yeah.
a lower vibration.
So if you're aiming for resilience, clarity, you want the clean energy.
That's his argument, yeah. Purity of input matters.
Yeah.
And that belief really drives his whole analysis of the market.
Makes sense from that perspective. So which companies does he focus on in this analysis, the big ones?
He zooms right in on the two main competitors, the ones really going head-to-head for your dollar. You've got the Impossible Company.
Ah, the Impossible Whopper people, right? Burger King uses them.
That's the one, known for that bleeding effect.
Right.
And then their main rival, the Beyond Meat Company.
Okay, Impossible and Beyond. Seen them both. They seem pretty similar on the shelf.
Visually, yes.
Yeah.
Similar goals in terms of mimicking meat. But Spiritwalker points out their insides, their composition, are worlds apart. And this difference is what gets him really fired up. He calls it his roar in the article.
Or roar. Okay, he feels strongly. So what's the big divide? What's the ingredient or process that makes him label one a monstrosity?
Yeah, monstrosity. It comes down to one core thing, genetic modification, GMOs.
Okay.
Spiritwalker states very clearly that the Impossible Company uses genetically modified ingredients to make their product work the way it does.
And Beyond Meat?
Beyond Meat, conversely, makes a big point of not using GMOs. They state it right on their packaging. Non-GMO project verified, usually.
So that's the clear line in the sand for him, GMO versus non-GMO.
Exactly. But it gets a bit tricky with labeling now.
That's-
Well, recent laws mean companies have to disclose genetic modification. But Spiritwalker warns that Impossible and others try to, let's say, sugarcoat it.
They don't just say GMO.
No. They often use the term bioengineered. You'll see a little symbol, maybe green and white.
Bioengineered sounds science-y, maybe less alarming than GMO to some.
That's precisely the point, according to Spiritwalker. He says it's deliberately used to, well, frankly, fool consumers who are trying to avoid GMOs.
So his advice is?
Simple.
Yeah.
If you see that bioengineered symbol, just know it means genetically modified ingredients were used. And based on his principles, you should avoid it. Don't support it with your money.
Okay, that's a clear warning. But why? Why do companies like Impossible go the GMO route if non-GMO options like Beyond Meat exist? What's the driver?
Spiritwalker suggests it comes down to market demand and, well, biological reality.
Meaning
People switching to plant-based still often crave that authentic meat experience, right? The taste, the texture, the way it cooks, even the color.
Yeah, the mimicry is key for many.
Exactly. And as Spiritwalker points out, there actually is no such thing as a plant-based cow, pig, or chicken. It's inherently difficult to replicate perfectly using only simple plants.
So bioengineering is a shortcut.
It seems to be, yeah, especially for certain properties. Like, Impossible uses genetically engineered yeast to produce something called soy legamoglobin.
Heme. Isn't that the stuff that makes it bleed and taste irony like meat?
That's the one. It's key to their mimicry.
Oh,
But it's produced in a lab using genetically altered yeast. It's not something you'd find just growing in a field.
okay, I see. So it's a lab-derived component to achieve that specific effect.
Right. And for Spiritwalker, that level of manipulation is the problem. It moves away from natural food, introduces something potentially risky. He urges research on GMO health risks, and it definitely doesn't raise that spiritual vibration he talks about.
It sounds like a trade-off then. Better mimicry potentially, but using methods he finds unacceptable.
Precisely. He argues there's nothing good about GMOs or bioengineering food, especially for someone aiming for resilience and purity. He says vote with your dollar. Don't choose the cheap crap, as he puts it, even if it seems convenient.
Voting with your dollar, that connects directly to prepping and self-sufficiency, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Think about it. If you choose Beyond Meat, okay, it's still processed, but it's primarily made from things like pea protein. Peas are something you could theoretically grow.
Right, you can grow peas, it connects back to the earth to something potentially replicable.
Exactly. But the Impossible Burger, that heme molecule requires industrial fermentation vats, genetically engineered yeast strains, specialized labs.
You can't replicate that on a homestead, not even close.
No way. It represents total dependence on a complex, high-tech industrial system, the opposite of self-sufficiency.
So choosing non-GMO, simpler, plant-based options isn't just about diet preference in this view, it's about choosing a path towards potential independence.
That's the core connection Spiritwalker makes. Rejecting lab food is an active step towards resilience. It's about knowing your food source and choosing sources that align with independence.
Which leads us nicely into the more physical side of prepping. Spiritwalker doesn't just talk diet, right? He's behind the Forgotten Wisdom brand, too.
Yes, Forgotten Wisdom is part of the larger nomadic enterprises umbrella, and its whole focus is on recovering those essential skills.
This sounds like what?
Things like homesteading arts, learning about off-grid living, essential survival techniques, and just generally mindful prepping for, well, for whatever the future holds. Building real resilience.
So it's the practical application of the philosophy, moving away from dependence.
Exactly. And the products they offer reflect that. It's not just random stuff.
Like the garden seeds category.
Right. Offering seeds isn't just selling a product, it's promoting food sovereignty, the ability to grow your own food, maybe even your own pea protein eventually.
Connects right back. And things like off-grid power products, hiking and camping gear.
All tools for independence, right?
Yeah.
Generating your own power, being able to move and survive outside the usual systems. Even categories like hunting and fishing supplies or durable coats and jackets.
It's about acquiring skills and gear for a life less reliant on complex systems closer to nature.
That's the idea. It's holistic. Mental purity through diet, physical capability through skills and tools. Forgotten Wisdom provides the tools for that physical side.
And Nomadic Enterprises, the parent company run by nomads.
Yeah, owned and operated by two people living that nomadic lifestyle. It reflects the adaptability they promote.
They seem committed to making it accessible too, right? Payment options, customer service.
Definitely. They take major credit cards, but also offer things like PayPal Pay Later or Pay in 4 and partial.ly, trying to help people manage the investment. And yeah, customer service, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 days a week. They seem focused on supporting people making this transition.
Okay, so if this whole conversation, this idea of aligning your diet and your prepping with true self-sufficiency, if that resonates with you, there's more, right? Spiritwalker has foundational work.
Oh, absolutely. If you want to really dive deep into this whole mindset, understand the principles, and get actionable plans for building resilience.
Then you need to know about the book series.
Yes. The Preparing for the Collapse book series by Spiritwalker, that's where he lays out his decades of experience and wisdom. It's the framework for everything we've discussed.
And listeners can find that.
We'll put a link right in the show description. Makes it easy to find and purchase this series. It's really the essential reading if you're serious about this path.
Good stuff. And there was a discount mentioned.
Right, a good one too. If you become a founding member of Nomadic Enterprises, you get 20% off everything on the site, permanently.
Wow, okay. So that includes books, Forgotten Wisdom gear, everything.
Yep, the whole site. It's a pretty significant saving, especially if you're investing in serious preparedness gear. Shows the value of committing fully.
Makes sense. So let's leave our listeners with a final thought then, based on everything Spiritwalker argues.
Yeah, think about this. If you're genuinely striving for self-sufficiency, preparing for disruptions, maybe even collapse, what does it signal if you rely on food engineered in a lab? Food that literally cannot exist without complex modern tech.
It seems contradictory, doesn't it?
It really does. True resilience, maybe it starts right there on your plate. Knowing what you're eating, demanding natural sources, choosing things you could potentially replicate, even in a small way.
Choosing the pea over the lap, perhaps?
It's a good way to put it. It's about maintaining that purity, that vibration Spiritwalker talks about, and ensuring your physical preps aren't undermined by dependence on fragile systems. Something to definitely mull over.
Indeed. Thanks for breaking that down. Lots to think about until next time on Preparing for the Collapse Radio.